let's talk about the feeding call now. Everybody loves blowing the feeding call. This is what people, they enjoy doing this the most. They feel like this is what makes you the rock star of the duck blind when you have a good feeding call. Now, let's understand what the feeding call is. Now, we're always guessing to an extent on why these ducks are making certain noises. I don't think that the feed call that we hear necessarily means that they are actually feeding. Think about whenever you're on the ground and you hear ducks flying over. I've heard this referred to as gaveling. As ducks are flying over, you may hear. All right, obviously they're not eating anything. They're way up there in the air flying. The best explanation that I've heard, or what I agree with the most, right or wrong, is I've heard biologists write about this and say that this is actually spacing call. So, and it makes sense. If they're flying up in the air, if you'll notice, when they're in a V formation, they're not looking around. It's not like they look back and say, hey, tighten it up over there on the left side, or where'd you guys go? They are making this sound and it keeps them together. It's basically saying, I'm right here, now where are you? It keeps the flock moving together. Now, this sound that they make when they're actually eating, a lot of people say that what they're doing is it's still a spacing call, but they are claiming a space. It's a little bit more aggressive. It's kind of like, this is my food right here in front of me. They're laying claim to it. And you can imagine, how would you feel? You're sitting there eating your dinner, someone reaches onto your plate, you're going to speak up. So they're claiming an area as they are feeding, and this sound will be a little bit more guttural, and sometimes it'll have some squeak to it. As food is going into the crawl, you'll get some changes in the sound. So when we talk about feed call, what we're actually talking about is a spacing call.
Kill them both.
Okay, now let's talk about three different styles of feed call. The first one I want to go into is the rolling feed. This is the one that most people are familiar with. So with a rolling feed like this, all right, what we're doing is we're saying the words ticka ticka or tuka tuka into the call. So if I'm going to say ticka ticka, I'm starting off with the T sound. So just like before, the tongue is up. The front part of the tongue is up on the roof of the mouth, right behind the front teeth. As you say the word tick, as it's cut off with the K, the back part of the tongue is going to come up and shut off the air toward the back of the palate. And then the sound is made as the tongue is going back up to the original starting position. Again, don't read too much into this. I just want you to understand that this is how these sounds are made, and learning to do the feed call is all about learning how to control your tongue, okay? Make up your own jokes from here. All right, so we're going to start off with ticka ticka. All right, so we want to start off learning slow and deliberate, and then we'll speed it up. All right, the most common mistake that people make is they try to go too fast. Now, if I go fast, I can go really fast doing it, but it doesn't sound good, because what happens is the notes will slur together. So if I go too fast, all right, my tongue's moving fast, but you can hear how bad that sounds. It just gets muddled. It sounds better if you'll slow down, and the best way to learn, start off real slow and deliberate. All right, now we talked about not putting any type of growl or anything like that into the call. And you still don't want to do it with the feed call, but you will notice if you're doing it right, there's a little bit of a hum. As you're putting air into the call, you will hear a little bit of a hum sound, kind of like this. All right, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not growling into the call. So ticka 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 and tuka 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 gives us two sounds, just like saying gwit and gwack gives us a little bit of a tone variation. Ticka and tuka gives us a little bit of tone variation with the feed call. So ticka ticka, tuka tuka. All right, now I can also move my hand a little bit, choke the notes down, and give a little bit, a little bit more tone variation. So ticka ticka, tuka tuka. All right, so let's do that drill together. Let's start off with ticka ticka ticka, and you do it right behind me. All right, now tuka tuka. Close your hand down, pinch down the note. Okay, and this alternate ticka ticka and tuka tuka, opening the hand and bringing the hand down. Okay, good.